Hello and welcome. I'm Lorianne Lumby with Authentic Freedom Academy, and this is our weekly spiritual service, Friday, October 8th, 2021. And before we dive into today's scripture reading and related content, let's take a few moments to arrive here. And so I'll invite you to close your eyes. And to draw your awareness to your breathing. Being conscious of each breath as you draw it in, and as you give it release. As you draw it in, and as you give it release. Allowing your attention to your breathing to draw you into consciously aware, centered, peaceful state. Remembering that you're in a safe and sacred place. In this time that you have set aside, your own journey of healing, of reflection and spiritual growth. Deep, intimate connection with yourself, with your higher power, with those in the circle, and with all of creation. Grateful for this opportunity to be called in a special way, to be witness to, a time of profound global consciousness change. Remembering that all necessary and dramatic change often begins with chaos, destruction, falling apart and a falling away from that which no longer serves. We are in the middle of a tower time. And we have been called, each uniquely, to serve a special purpose for this time of transformation. And let us just take a few moments in silence to connect with that agreement, wherever, however, in whatever way that was consciously or unconsciously made. That agreement to be here now, to be part of and witness to an upheaval and a midwife to something new. Cradled within that place of calling and agreement, we listen to these words from the prophet Joel. Gird yourselves and weep, wail. Come, spend the night in sackcloth. The house of your God is deprived of offering and libation. Proclaim a fast, call an assembly, gather the elders, all who dwell in the land, into the houses of the Lord, and cry out to the Lord. Alas, the day, for near is the day. Alas, the day, for near is the day of the Lord, and it comes as ruin from the Almighty. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Let all who dwell in the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming. Yes, it is near. A day of darkness and of gloom, a day of clouds and somberness. Like dawn spreading over the mountains, a people numerous and mighty. Their like has not been from of old, nor will it be after them, even to the years of distant generations. That was the first reading in the lectionary for today. And I thought those words were really darn apropos for where we've been, where we continue to be, and what we're likely going to be moving through for the foreseeable future. I sure wish I could say, tomorrow, everything will be better. Everything will be great. The world will be in peace, and all suffering will have come to an end. But I would be a liar. I would be a liar because while so many times I wish I could be the one with the garland of flowers and the bubbles and the magic wand saying, everything's good, everything's great, everything's bright and rosy, and tomorrow's going to be a better day. But I can't. Apparently, a significant, if not the central reason for my time here now is to be that witness to the dying. And so many who have found themselves in this circle have also been called in that way. And if your journey has been anything like mine, it's kicking and screaming. Nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news. Nobody wants to be Joel standing on the mountain saying, "Gird your loins, the day of the Lord is coming. It's going to come in a terrible, awful way with darkness and thunder and destruction and collapse." Nobody wants to be Noah saying, "There's a flood coming. You best get up on this ark or you're going to be destroyed." Nobody wants to be Moses or Isaiah or Joan of Arc or Catherine of Siena or Hildegard of Bingen or Julian of Norwich or Marjorie of Kemp. Nobody wants to be the person bringing the bad news, but the truth is, the world as we know it is dying. And it's an appropriate and timely death because, as we've said over and over and over, and I feel like a broken record, and I'm sorry if I feel like a broken record to you, the world has been built on a system of fear, power, oppression, and control. That world has benefited very few and has been the detriment to the vast majority. It's a system that's destroying our world. And if we don't get our shit together, humanity will be extinct. We will be the cause of our own distinction because Mother Earth always wins. Always. And if you ever want proof of that, all we have to do is go into an architectural ruin. Places and buildings that have been left abandoned. And within a very short period of time, Mother Nature takes over. She vines her way in and between the crumbling stones. She comes up out of the tile in the earth. She pierces through concrete. She bends steel. Mother Earth will always have her way. And she's pissed. She is darn angry at this stupid human species that has shit on her, that has filled her with radiation, that has stripped down her lungs in the destruction of the forests, that have clawed through the earth through tilling, farming techniques. We have polluted her air with carbon-based fuels. We've torn a hole in the ozone. All of these things have been done by stupid humans. We are the cause of our own extinction if we don't get this shit straight now. The good news is, if we can call it good news, is that the system that created all of this grossness, all of this harm, all this division and hatred and separation, the system that has created this is by its nature unsustainable. It is collapsing under the weight of its own greed and gluttony and selfishness and pride. It is collapsing under the weight of its own attempts at controlling, at grasping, at clinging, at driving and striving through systems that should not be driven and striven to. The system is collapsing. And it is a great and ugly and terrible collapse, especially for those who benefit from the system. So we stand at this place of knowing and understanding what's happening. But that knowledge does not save us from the pain. The pain of certain loss. And we've all discussed the losses. Relationships, friendships, ways of being and knowing, habits, rituals, things that we have become accustomed to and used to, lifestyle choices. Things that we have known as normal are proving to also be unsustainable. Unsustainable because they did not come out of a place of love, but out of a place of conditioning. And conditioning is all about power. It's all about manipulation and control. It's the shoulds that we spoke of earlier. We know and we understand what's happening, and we may celebrate even the collapse of an evil empire. But it doesn't keep us from the pain. We feel that pain of loss. We feel that experience of frustration and disappointment and heartbreak when we see that so many are unable to see. Our heart breaks when we watch people clinging to that which they have known because it's all they know, when what they know is harming them. It is like we live in a world that is used to being the beaten wife and doesn't know anymore anything else. So this must be normal. It's all I've ever known. And even though what we're knowing is destroying us, leaving the known into the unknown is terrifying. So we stay in a place where we're being destroyed because we don't know what's we don't know what's in that place of unknown. And our heart breaks when we see loved ones and friends and people that we care about making those choices for same. So as those who are called to be witness to this destruction, aware of the why and the how, those of us that have been called to be that witness while at the same time carrying within ourselves a vision of something new, something better, something gentler, more loving, more caring, more compassionate. It is difficult to stand as witness to death. It is difficult to watch the suffering and the pain. It is difficult to be in our own place of fear as we watch the world crumble around us, knowing that it's not done crumbling and there's going to be some pretty dramatic crumbles coming up. to stand in that place of our own fear, understanding and knowing why we're here and what we're here for, while hanging on to that vision of hope and promise and potential. Getting dragged down into those places of despair, wondering, is humanity ever going to get their shit straight? Or are we really going to destroy ourselves? But knowing in the deepest places of our heart that there can be hope in humanity. There can be hope in the collective consciousness. There can be hope in a bigger and wider and vaster awakening. I know for myself, having been consciously on this journey for at least 25 years, I've seen a change. I have seen more and more people awakened to what's happening in our world. I have seen the circles of connection growing, deepening, expanding. I have seen those that maybe weren't consciously aware a few years ago, but now are part of the conversation. I've also been given the profound gift of knowing our young generations. At the top of my mind are the Gen Zs, which my children are both in that category. And I've had enough conversations with enough people in that age group that I do indeed have hope. They came into the world with a knowing. It's not even a vision. It's a knowing of what the world is. And if you've spoken at length with anyone in their early to mid 20s, you will know the depth of disappointment that they have felt when somewhere around the age of 7, when we really become aware of what's going on around us, they went, what the fuck? This is not what I know. This is not the world I came to live in. How, how is this possible? As I choke on those words. How is it that this is the world I'm living in when the world I know here in my heart, in my mind, in my full being, that world is kind. It celebrates diversity. It cares for the planet. It knows of no other way but sustainability. And they've all been through that, holy shit, this is not what I know. And to say it in a very difficult way, not all survived that disappointment. I know from my own children, 10 of their peers chose death by suicide instead of living in a world that was so far away from what they knew in their hearts. Thank goodness many are resilient and have moved through that disappointment to that place of, we're just going to make the world that I know and hear. And they will. I am certain that they will. Because this is the generation that doesn't take any shit. This is the generation that is causing businesses to think there's a worker shortage. There's no worker shortage. The kids are saying no. They're saying, hell no, I'm not working for minimum wage or less. No, I'm not going to work for no benefits. No, I'm not going to work in a crappy job environment where I'm not supported or cared for. No, I'm going to go find my own way to make money and support myself. And they are. They are the changers in our world. And they are already quietly, secretly, subversively building the new world. So as we stand in that place of witnessing the death and knowing that this death is going to be going on for quite some time, at 56, almost 57 years old, I don't think I'll see the end of this death in my lifetime, though I do know I'll see the beginnings of the new. Societal change takes time. And we must be in this change and witness this change with a long-term vision. We need to look at it through eagle eyes. Yes, we see what's happening now, and we may grieve, and we may wail, and we may moan. Our hearts might be broken a million more times. We will be disappointed and frustrated. And we will grieve the loss of what we've known. But we do not keep our vision in that moment. We understand that on the horizon, at the dawn of the new day, as Joel said, like dawn spreading over the mountains, a people numerous and mighty. Their like has not been from of old, nor will it be after them, even to the years of distant generations. We are the people numerous and mighty. The generations coming behind us are the numerous and mighty. There is a new coming into form, but we must keep our vision wide and our hearts open to hope. And we must remain connected because we need that ongoing support and kindness and love that we so generously give the world. We need that for ourselves as well, so that we might bear witness, allowing the death so that that new can come into form. And with that, I want to close with a vision and a prayer of hope. The goddess who seeks to be with us today and to provide a message of comfort is Blue Tara. And these are the words of her oracle. Blue Tara, sweet mother of peace, now bestows her gifts of clarity, peace, and the power to overcome any negative condition. Just as the beautiful lotus grows from muddied waters, so too shall you arise from times of confusion, of difficult circumstance, and heavy energies into sacred and beautiful blossoming. If you currently feel held back or slowed down by life's circumstances, remember that your soul has the ability to process all experiences and become stronger through doing so. This oracle indicates healing and a positive prediction for a peaceful and glorious future. And we receive that blessing and that acknowledgement with an amen, and so shall it be.